Rosie, baby.
So you were outed by Perez Hilton.
I was outed by a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, he definitely
How come he
helped.
sort of gets the credit for that?
He
I don't
does
know.
because he had the biggest site at the time. But you know, everyone has rumbles about them. Even George Clooney has rumbles of being gay out there.
Yeah, and I love what he said. He goes, I don't care if people think I'm gay.
Exactly. I
Loved
that.
it. It was
and
fantastic.
it's so true. And that shows you that he's not.
Right,
You know, anyone that can
exactly.
admit it will be like, I don't care if people talk about me in that way. And so there's always been rumbles, and I knew that. And I knew at some point I was going to be able to publicly admit it, even though I didn't think it was anyone's business. But unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. You have to admit it. And it wasn't until I really fell in love that I knew I was going to have to say something. One, to my family. My family didn't know. So, of course, I wanted to come out to my family first before I came out to the world.
Right.
And it got a little, it went out of hand a little bit because it went a lot faster than I wanted it to go.
But your sister, you had told your sister you were
I
gay.
told my sister first, and she was totally fine with it. It's a whole different generation.
Yes.
You know, and she started crying immediately, not because she didn't, that she cared about it, but she knew how hard it was going to be on my family. You know, the parents, the grandparents that have to deal with it.
But your grandparents have come through in a way you didn't expect, right?
I know, my Mimi, God love her. She is just amazing. She is so funny. She's so inquisitive about it, you know, and she, you know, that generation grew up with, you are going to hell if you're gay. You can't even talk about it.
So how do you explain that she was able to sort of get there?
You know what? I think once you get to a certain age, you know what really matters. And she knows that family matters, love matters. And if you're going to love someone of the same sex, great. And I think that's great. You know, that generation really gets that.
So when Perez Hilton was putting this stuff up about you, did you have panic?
I mean, I did. I really did. There's been so much written about me in all kinds of different magazines that were not true that I didn't think anyone would really believe it. But you know, people really started hounding on me and trying to catch me and my boyfriend together.
Right.
And I was, you know, I was living with my boyfriend. We were in love, and so we were publicly going to places, and I wasn't hiding it to my friends and family.
Right.
So I knew eventually it was going to happen. But I think the way that they did it was really tacky.
I agree. And I don't believe in outing unless you're a politician who's voting against the rights of your own people. But I don't believe in it. I think you can't scream at a rose, bloom. It opens when it's ready to open.
You can't force people to do anything they want to do. It's got to be on their own time.
Have you ever spoken to him since then?
I have.
Yeah.
We run into each other occasionally, every once in a while, and he's very nice to me.
Is it awkward or weird?
It's not awkward, not to me.
Have you ever said to him, can we talk about that?
No, not at all. I mean, he knows what he does, and I've seen, especially with all the bullying that's been so much in the news, I've seen that he's changed a lot. Since then. I mean, I don't read any of the sites, but of course, if I'm ever mentioned, my friends are the first to send me.
Yeah, thank you.
anything.
I always get
like,
that too.
I'm like, I
look
don't
at
want
this.
to read this.
I know, I don't want to know.
But you read everything because people send you. But I have seen that he has cut out the, you know, the F word and putting penises on your face and that type of stuff. So, and my thing is, I want a younger generation out there to see someone positive that they can feel they can relate to, that they can do that in their own lives.